came out in the second half, played hard, played how we've been playing all year, and that made a difference. So once we start seeing that, okay, it's making a difference, we realize like this is who we are. We're gonna play like this for the next 24 minutes and see what happens. And we're able to make runs. We're able to guard. We're able to stop them from scoring, and it was good. It was good. You know, battle for us. It was a good challenge for us. It's good to face adversity. It's good to be uncomfortable. It's good to be down. It's good to chase because that's when you get better.
And that was Bucks MVP candidate Giannis Antetokounmpo after his Bucks overcame an early 23-point deficit against the Miami Heat for a 130-116 win, clinching the top seed in the Eastern Conference in the process. Giannis says the biggest challenge for the Bucks are themselves, but that doesn't mean there's not some serious competition standing in Milwaukee's way. All right, Matt and Richard back with us for this conversation. Matt, I want to ask you, who do you think is the stronger team right now? The better team right now? Is it the Bucks or is it the Red Hot Raptors?
I think the team that's playing best right now, and like we mentioned in the last segment, it's about who's hottest right now. And I obviously think that's the Raptors. They're undefeated in the bubble, and their defense is ferocious. They scramble, they get on the floor, they get 50-50 balls, they get the loose balls. And that was a recipe for their success last year. Obviously, I was someone who thought losing Kawhi Leonard was going to be too steep of a hill for them to overcome, but they proved me wrong, and I'm sure they proved plenty of other people wrong. Kyle Lowry is a great leader, and then you got Van Fleet and Siakam and their two bulls on offense, mixed in with a bunch of wily veterans and a great coach in Nick Nurse. So right now, to me, Toronto is playing the best, not only in the Eastern Conference, but I think in the bubble overall.
So there is this fine line between who's playing the best basketball and who's the best team. Right now, the Portland Trail Blazers are playing great basketball. Are they the best team in the bubble? No. Each team has a different focus. What the Denver Nuggets are trying to do, what the Lakers are trying to do, they're not fighting to get in. They're not fighting for home court. The Portland Trail Blazers are fighting to get in, so their focus is completely different. There's nothing at stake for the Lakers. There's nothing at stake for Milwaukee. So I can't sit here and say, oh, well, Milwaukee isn't playing nearly as well as Toronto. They're in a little bit different situation. Now, Toronto is clinched. They're in a good spot. And so many people think like, oh, you're disrespecting the champs. Well, those aren't the same champs. You take any champion and you lose the finals MVP, the two-time finals MVP, your team is going to look different. Now, credit to Nick Nurse, credit to the Raptors and Kyle Lowry and Pascal Siakam, who continues to improve, who would be my vote for most improved player. But ultimately, I believe that they have enough to get to a conference final. I have enough to believe that they can even possibly upset. But is there a chance of them winning a championship? Don't get mad at me, Toronto people, but there's zero chance that they can win a championship. They have too much to overcome. They have too much going on. They have zero chance. Right? There's no amount of things that can happen unless you have a similar Golden State situation happen where multiple players get hurt in multiple series. It's happened before, but ultimately they are a great team. They are well coached. They can get to the conference finals, especially with Philadelphia not knowing when Ben Simmons is going to come back. That puts them, in my opinion, in the conference finals. And then really what they have to do is they just have to try and do whatever they can to slow down Giannis.
They outperformed. Obviously, they've already outperformed what I think most people expected of them, and I think they would have beaten the 76ers even with a healthy Ben Simmons, but we won't get to see that since Ben Simmons had that issue with his kneecap. But I do think that they're playing better than the Bucks right now, and I think, Richard, you made an important distinction. I don't think they're actually better than the Bucks, but if we're talking about who's playing better right now, I think all the guys that you named and the reasons why you named, the Raptors are playing better, but I think the Bucks win last night, like that almost made me change my mind because that was a big win because that's the name, the Heat, the team that the Bucks beat last night. That's the team that everyone's been talking about how the Bucks don't want to play them and how Bam is the one guy in the league who is going to be the Giannis stopper, and the Bucks don't have anything for the Heat, and the Bucks are trying to avoid the Heat. And guess what happened? They were down last night in the fourth quarter, and they took over that game and won. And I think that was a big game for them to prove to themselves and to shut everybody else up about their fear of the Heat or them trying to avoid the Heat. They're not afraid of the Heat. They're the best team in the East. Maybe they're not playing as well as everyone right now. And it's for all the reasons that you mentioned, because maybe they don't need to, because they dominated all the regular season. They need to play well when the playoffs start, when this kind of third season starts. We had this regular season, then we had this bubble kind of qualification round, and then we have this third season in the postseason. That's when they need to play their best in the East, and I think they will. But I think it's hard to argue with the team that's playing the best right now in the East. It's definitely the Raptors, but they aren't the best team.
No, I agree. Like I've been saying, it's hoops hot, but you also have to look at. I think the Bucks' success solely lands on their complementary players' shoulders. Giannis is proven to be, even though he doesn't have a consistent jump shot, almost unstoppable. The most unstoppable player in transition we've seen in a long time. He's mastered that spin move in the half court. He's getting to the basket at will. Although I know defense tighten up during the playoffs, he's still going to be around that 30 points and 15 rebounds. But what is Eric Bledsoe going to give you? He's slowly working himself back in the rotation. Is Middleton going to be able to step up in the playoffs? So they're complementary guys. Are Lopez brothers going to be able to do what they do in the playoffs? So I think their success solely rests on the shoulders of their second and third options and the rest of their team, because you know what you're going to get from possibly this year's MVP, Giannis.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.